Hi, I'm George Nordhaus. This is the second half of this wonderful presentation by Bruce Cochrane called Aggregations, or aggregators, or whatever you want to call them, but they're the groups that agents have, and Bruce was one of the first ones ever to come up with this concept, and he's been very, very successful with the Renaissance group. So what we're going to do is to finish this out. If you missed part one, you can go back and hear it any time. But Bruce, just to get us started here, now there seem to be many variations among aggregations out there today, all kinds of them. What do you see as the major differences among them? What should an agent be thinking of if he's partnering with an aggregation? What should he look for?
Well, George, the basic differentiations in aggregations that we see is the serious versus non-serious aggregations. Most aggregations today do a little more than just share markets and profit share, which we believe is a waste of opportunity. I mean, after all, if you're going to go to the trouble of gathering together a number of successful agencies, why not take full advantage of it? I mean, to do anything else or anything less is just a waste of resources and potential. The challenges that independent agents face today cannot be solved simply by sharing markets and profit share. I mean, these pseudo aggregations actually can do more harm than good. I mean, they might add some additional revenue here and there, but they actually lull members into a false sense of security, thinking that they solve the problems, which then, of course, enables.
Excuse me for interrupting, but I see that a lot, where agents are going into this thing and they got this is their decision. I'm going to live with it and everything, even if it doesn't work.
Right. Well, the problem with that is it leads to complacency. The false security leads to complacency, and as a result, agents involved in these are less inclined to seriously address fundamental changes. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "The surest way backward is standing still," and I agree. I mean, hey, we'd all like to delude ourselves into believing all we have to do to be successful going forward is to just continue to do what's made us a success so far. But that's not the real world. I mean, most thoughtful agents understand the world is changing at a mind-boggling speed, and they have to do something to position themselves for future success. The question is what to do. So let's talk
you can tell the difference. Excuse me, I was just going to say you can tell the difference between serious aggregations and those not serious. That word serious, incidentally, is excellent to use on this because, well, you go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's just that word serious really grabbed me.
Well, it should grab everybody. Well, yeah, so let's talk about the characteristics of a serious aggregation. Or put it another way, what one should be looking for in an aggregation. If these characteristics aren't present, keep on looking. First, of course, is vision. There must be a defining, uniting vision for the group. Where is all this headed? I mean, a group without a purpose is a ship without a rudder. If we don't know where we're going, how in the hell are we going to get there wherever there is? With Renaissance Alliance, we refer to it as RAISE. It's Renaissance Alliance Insurance Services, so the acronym is RAISE. We don't aggregate just to aggregate. We aggregate because we're building the future, the agency of the future. By taking full advantage of the scale potential of the aggregation, we can create advantages unachievable by standalone agencies. And we can innovate, try new things, go where no one else has gone. Our watchword, our byword is that the best way to predict the future is to create it. Number two, full-time professional management. Unserious aggregations draw management for any centralized operations from among the existing agencies. The problem with that is that that's just part-time, and so it splits loyalties. So when push comes to shove, these individuals realize the value that they have is back in their individual agencies, which causes the central ops to suffer or lack necessary attention. Number three, capital. Serious funds are needed to fund serious centralized operations. The question is, where does it come from? 4, infrastructure. This is needed in order to run and manage central operations. Processes, procedures, expertise, and capabilities unavailable to most standalone agencies. Remember, these things don't just happen by themselves. Number 5, real partnerships with carriers. Non-serious groups we found are formed simply to leverage for higher commissions. So we've got several friendly agents who come to have dinner one night, and they decide after having dinner that they're going to form a group. The next day they call their carriers and declare they are now a group and they want additional revenue. So the carriers sit there scratching their heads and say to themselves, so what do I have today that I didn't have yesterday? We had one retiring carrier executive referred to these groups as extortionists in a way. I mean, carriers are looking for value, and they're now beginning to demand it. Serious aggregations build into their business plans means by which carriers will realize true benefits from the aggregation. It's a two-way partnership. And of course, these are just some of the carriers that we happen to represent.
There's everybody in the country. It looks.
Yeah, well, it's a large group.
Well, let me ask something about carriers. Do they want to work with aggregators? Do they like to work with aggregators?
If they have a chance to work with serious aggregators, they do.
Okay.
That's a whole
Just wondered how that works.
Another discussion.
That's all right.
Well, the bottom line is that serious aggregations have a defined purpose and the focus, commitment, talent, and resources to make that purpose a reality. As far as we're concerned, all others are nothing more than social clubs.
Well, I understand. I've dealt with a number of those social clubs. Well, give me some examples of how a serious aggregation, like Ray's, can create advantages unachievable by standalone agencies. What's it all about?
Sure. Expertise at all levels. I mean, when you have the resources that can be created by bringing successful agencies together in a group, you didn't have the resources to go out and hire expertise in a number of areas that individual agents couldn't afford to attract or retain. Marketing and placement, and account placement talent, for example. Systems and technology. I mean, we do a lot of systems integration work, making systems work with the agency management system and bringing in other capabilities that most agencies don't have or have available to them. And we develop some new systems as well. So, for instance, 2 examples are one, our EasyPay INS proprietary pay-as-you-go workers' compensation platform. We created this, worked with a vendor, got it set up, and then we engaged every single one of our workers' compensation carriers on this platform. It's the first of its kind in the country. And we're now rolling out a system, we refer to it as COGDA, that we believe is going to revolutionize the way independent agents market and place commercial lines. It creates efficiencies that have heretofore been unavailable to independent agencies.
Let me ask something just a minute as you go. You know, you said
sure.
Technologies, and yours is, to my knowledge, one of the only aggregations that actually does the submissions for your agents. That's an unusual. Do others do that too? I want to get you on Technologies.
I'm only aware of 2 or 3 others across the country that get involved in that in any way, shape, or form. But we do it on an across-the-board basis. And we have a staff of almost 20 full-time marketers and placers who do nothing but market and place all day long.
Wow, that's
we could spend a lot of time on that one too.
No, we won't. But that's fabulous.
Well, moving along. I mean, we got training. We've got, for instance, 3 full-time trainers on staff to help our agents make better use of the technology and systems they have available to them. A serious aggregation becomes, in effect, the research and development departments for agencies. We're constantly thinking, what are we doing next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line? That's a huge advantage for agencies that most agencies don't have the ability or the time or the resources to spend on right now. Operational efficiencies. This is a huge one. I mean, we're talking about delegating. Delegating in any business is all about multiplying ourselves. I mean, raise agents, in the overall scheme of things, delegate to raise non-mission critical operations, and mission critical operations that can be better be done or more effectively be done centrally, which relieves principals, producers, and CSRs of redundant, time-consuming, and focus-robbing tasks so they can concentrate on sales and service. But then RAISE takes it another step forward. In other words, we outsource, for instance, to a team of 15 people that we have in China. A great deal of the processing that we do here, which enables our experts here to be able to concentrate on the more qualitative things that make a real difference for our agencies. But it's just another example of the process of delegating down. I mean, the way we look at it, in the way we coach our agents, is do only what you have to do yourself or what you do best. Delegate everything else to others who can do it faster, better, and at a lower cost. I mean, it's true in any industry. Those who can operate at a lower cost will have a real advantage over their competition. It opens up all kinds of avenues. And of course, redeploy freed up services or resources on sales and service. I mean, it's a common theme throughout all of this. We have developed now also what we call resource maximizer, which enables our agents to take advantage of the outsourcing capabilities that we have with our team in China, so that we can offload for them a series of workflows that frees up agency personnel to be able to do far more effective servicing and sales activities.
Wow.
Sales differentiated. Sales differentiated. You know, specialty programs. For me, specialty programs are the low-hanging fruit, and this is where we make a difference for our agents in the marketplace, where they set themselves apart. An example of that is what we talked about a little earlier. Is EasyPay INS. Social media networking strategies in support. This social media is here to stay. This is what Daniel Burris refers to as a hard trend. It isn't going away, and in fact, it's drastically altering the way we conduct business, and it's going to continue to do so on down the line. We could talk for a couple of hours on this topic alone. Lead generation, which in what we're doing is tied to the whole social network and media strategy. And of course, the use of mobility capabilities, tablets, iPhones, iPads, you name it. Okay. Data management. We're living in a data management world. We've got new and far-reaching data gathering needs. So for those people who have the ability to gather data, analyze it, draw conclusions from it, create actionable initiatives from those conclusions, and then implement strategies based upon those actionable initiatives, then measure their progress, and of course make course corrections. This is what data management is all about. I mean, in the new consumer-driven world, we need to gather information that we've never gathered before. We need to know the likes, dislikes, needs, tendencies, and inclinations of our prospects and our customers, so that we can use that to customize products and services. We really have to re-engineer the way we make strategy decisions, and the way we'll do that is the effective use of data. What we're talking about here, what we're talking about here is really the basic concept of measurement. I mean, if you can't measure something, you can't understand it. If you can't understand it, you can't control it. And if you can't control it, you can't improve it. What we say around here is we can't get what we don't measure. And this, now I realize most agents are not data wonks, But this one item is so important that if you can't do it yourself, hire someone who can. That's how important it is. I just saw this up on the screen here. This is an example of, this is what we put together for the RAISE model back in 1999, and it's pretty much played out this way. And you'll see RAISE in the middle having access to all these various points, and carriers and agents have access to all other carriers and other agents in all of these new client sources in all these services through one central access point. And it's pretty much worked out that way.
How's an agency? I've got every agency in, well, you're New England only. It seems like if I were an agency, I'd want to get the heck in there if it's possible. It shouldn't be too hard for you to find members.
Well,
what are you looking for?
We select agents very carefully. We're probably more selective in the agents we bring into Renaissance Alliance than any carrier that we know of. And there are a number of reasons for that. But here are the things we look for in an agent. We look for an agent that's already a success, that have the intangibles of integrity and professionalism, reputation, so on and so forth, that have a minimum size. We're not training agents to be agents here. We're helping to take them to another level. They have to have underwriting profitability. Nothing good happens in this business of ours without underwriting profitability. And we're very proud of the profitability of the whole aggregation, which we could talk about another time. And there has to be perpetuation in place. We're not looking to bring on agencies that are ready to play out the string. And they have to have a desire and a commitment to grow. That's very fundamental. We tell agencies, if you don't have the desire and commitment to grow, then you shouldn't join Renaissance Alliance, because the economics won't work for you. And what we call the biggie is they need to get it. They need to understand what we're all trying to accomplish here. So when we created Renaissance Alliance, people said to me, okay, what are you going to call the group? You're going to call it a cluster? No. You're going to call it a group? I mean, a gaggle, a herd, a school? So we sort of noodled around, and then we realized that each of one of our agencies is a star in their own right? And so we came up with calling the group, if you want to call it, a constellation. It's the Renaissance Alliance constellation of agencies, because it's a meaningful configuration of stars. I like that one myself.
I like that one too.
And this, I just throw this up. This is one of our communication pieces. Our family dog is a golden retriever named Radar, and it's just a play on words. What's on your radar? And so every Monday morning, this goes out along with your Monday morning, George, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, you're the only large group or a large aggregator or aggregation that does send Monday morning out to all your members. And why the heck not? There's no cost to it.
So communication,
Yes, good.
So what we have here is that really the market now is demanding serious aggregations. Carriers are demanding it. They're looking very seriously at aggregators and figuring out which are the ones that are going to bring them value. Competition demands it, and of course consumers demand it because of the advantages that it brings to them as well. So in wrapping up, we're at a time when agents need to literally jump out of their skins and into a whole new set of skin in order to succeed and thrive going forward. I mean, this is a daunting enough task with unlimited resources and support, but nearly impossible to be done on an island. Aggregations are the key going forward to agents' ability to generate the scale to achieve together what they couldn't dream of as standalone agencies, all while maintaining their independence. If you keep doing what you've always done in the midst of rapid change, you'll lose your competitive advantage. You either change with the times or you get left behind. Which option makes the most sense for your agency?
Oh boy, that's beautifully put. I admire you for a lot of things, but one thing particularly, you're telling your story. You're telling the secret success to everybody. You're sharing that with the world. Are you not afraid that everybody's going to come in and take your?
And one more thing, George, and that is, if you don't believe me, I suggest that agents get a hold of the latest McKinsey report entitled "Agents of the Future." You'll find a lot of these themes echoed in there. I mean, it's as if they had listened to what I've been saying for the last 15 years, but a lot of really good stuff in there.
That's fabulous. You know what we're going to do? That just came out, and it's the best report I've ever seen on where the agent's going. And it takes it also from the insurance company side, which I really like, too. So and you and I have had some good discussions about it. And I will tell you that I've talked to McKinsey, and they're going to I'm going to interview the guys who wrote this. And it can change your life. It can change your agency. I'm glad we really agree on that. Well, let's go to this this contact information here. You can talk to Bruce at any time. He's easy to talk to, and he responds. So that's really a great thing. So if you'll do that, Bruce, I would greatly appreciate it. And I want to thank you again for everything you've done. Okay, I can't say too much about it. And if there's anything else I can do, let me know. I'll see the rest of you guys next Monday morning.